Here's your wrestling news for June 12th, 2022. And your headlines for today include: Paige reveals everything about WWE departure. Did she quit or was she fired? SmackDown Superstar injured during this week's show. Matt Cardona discusses plans for WWE return, compares himself to top superstar. Cardona stripped of NWA World Heavyweight Championship, new champion crowned. Freddie Prinze Jr. discusses plans for new promotion, has pitched to top AEW star, former NXT Champion. Sami Zayn gives fantastic update about Sami for Syria Mobile Clinic campaign. Update on Cody Rhodes' injury, footage filmed for documentary. NXT 2.0 superstar seemingly injured during first NXT live event in over 2 years. Feud with former WWE Champion teased for Gunther after this week's championship victory. Top Raw superstar is confident that a premium live event will happen in Africa, and more. We're kicking off today with Paige, who announced this week that she will be leaving WWE, with July 7th marking her final day with the company. After signing over 11 years ago, fans were surprised to see Paige make her announcement, but we now know more about what's happened between her and WWE. Many fans believed that Paige is choosing to leave WWE so that she can wrestle again, something that the promotion won't let her do, but that isn't the case. Answering questions from fans during a Twitch livestream, Paige admitted that it was WWE who put the wheels in motion for her departure, saying that they did not want to re-sign her. Paige also added that she is not medically cleared yet, despite claiming that her neck is 1000% fixed, adding that, "I'm the most healthy I've been in my whole career." Speaking about WWE's decision to fire her, Paige said it's all fair, as she couldn't expect the company to keep her around forever without using her. When asked about AEW, Paige said that she's more than happy to sign with Tony Khan's promotion if the money is right. Tony Khan certainly has enough money to afford Paige, and many fans already believe she'll be heading that way soon enough. And we now know that it was WWE who chose to part ways with the former Divas champion. On this week's SmackDown, Lacey Evans defeated Xia Li, earning a spot in next month's Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. This was just the latest loss for Li, who has struggled to find her footing on the main roster, but things may be even worse than thought for the Chinese superstar. A fan in attendance shared footage to YouTube showing Charles Robinson and a medic checking on Li, who was laid still in the center of the ring. During this moment, Robinson can be seen reaching for his radio to talk to officials backstage. While the two got Li out of the ring, she needed to be helped backstage by Robinson and the medic, who made their way with her through the crowd as SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey was making her entrance. There's something telling about the injured Li having to make her way through the crowd due to WWE focusing on Rousey, and while there's no word on what kind of injury she possibly suffered, we're wishing her the best after this week's SmackDown. When Matt Cardona was released by WWE in 2020, no one would have expected the incredible run he'd go on to have, including capturing the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Despite empty arenas due to the pandemic, the former Zack Ryder has become arguably the biggest name not signed to WWE or AEW, but he's not the only big star to leave Vince McMahon's company. Earlier this week, Cardona said that he is open to returning one day to WWE, and speaking more recently to Wrestling Inc., said he'd love to have a run quite like Cody Rhodes. Right now, it's truly his time. It's super cool that he was able to bring his music and his logos and his nickname. It's his package, so hypothetically, if I were to ever go back, yeah, I'd love to do something similar to that. Rhodes may be on the injured list, but the American Nightmare has enjoyed some fantastic bookings so far in his return to WWE and is expected to become a world champion one day. Whether Cardona follows in Cody's footsteps, only time will tell, but should Zack Ryder return, expect a mega push for the former Broski. We mentioned that Cardona went on to capture the NWA World Heavyweight Championship after his WWE release, but that reign came to an end last night. While Cardona had been scheduled to defend against Nick Aldis at the Always Ready pay-per-view, that match was cancelled due to Cardona suffering a torn biceps. At last night's event, NWA President Billy Corgan told Cardona that he had to vacate the title, something the champ very reluctantly did. A fatal four-way match was made for the show's main event, seeing Aldis, Trevor Murdoch, Samuel Shaw, formerly Dexter Lumis, and Thomas Latimer compete for the gold. In the end, it was Murdoch who hit Aldis with a top rope bulldog to get the pin, capturing the NWA World Heavyweight Championship for the second time in his career. This wasn't the only title change of the night, as Doug Williams and Harry Smith won the NWA World Tag Team Championships, while Pretty Empowered became the new NWA Women's Tag Champions in what was a monumental night for the National Wrestling Alliance. Now, last month, Freddie Prinze Jr. announced that he is planning on launching his own promotion and has enough resources already for what's being called a 3-year plan. While we know that Prinze plans on the new promotion being part of the Screen Actors Guild ensuring certain rights for talent, little is known about the plans themselves until this week. Speaking on his Wrestling with Freddie podcast, Prinze said there will be no new stipulations made, though joked about a ring suspended on a trapeze over 2 elephants. In a more serious tone, Prinze said that he had been tossing ideas to MJF, seemingly confirming that he hopes to win over the AEW star and sign him to a deal. The Scooby-Doo actor also named Killer Kross as someone he's been wanting to work with, and said that he popped big the first time he came face-to-face with the 2-time former NXT Champion. There's currently no official dates for when Prinze's promotion will begin, nor is there a roster or even a company name, but Freddie is shooting for the moon with this upcoming endeavor. Back to WWE, as Sami Zayn is one of the most loathsome heels and has most recently tried to align himself with the Bloodline. Zayn may be a heel on TV, but he's the exact opposite off-screen, and the former Intercontinental Champion has given fans some great news. On social media, Zayn announced that the second Sami for Syria Mobile Medical Clinic has been opened after starting the Sami for Syria campaign in 2017 to help people in need. The first mobile clinic began operating in 2020 after reaching a $50,000 fundraising goal, and now Zayn and his generous fans have been able to provide even more help to those struggling in the war-torn nation. This week's SmackDown didn't go Zayn's way, as he lost to Riddle, who earned a championship match with Roman Reigns next week, but Sami's work outside of the ring is proving to be very successful. At Hell in a Cell, Cody Rhodes fought through a torn pectoral to get the win over Seth Rollins for the show's main event in one of the most gutsy performances in years. It's been established that Cody's pectoral tore completely off the bone during a weight training session earlier that day, but that's not when his injury began. In an update from Fightful, we've learned that Cody's injury actually started on the May 30th Raw, where he suffered a slight tear during his brawl with Seth Rollins. Unaware of the tear, Rhodes continued through this week as normal, and it was during the weight training session that the slight tear was made worse and the muscle ripped from the bone. Rhodes arrived in Birmingham, Alabama this past Wednesday to prepare for the surgery, and WWE also filmed interviews and material for a future documentary about this injury. WWE has said that Cody will be out of action for 9 months, though most external reports have suggested 4 to 6 months at the latest, but for now, the American Nightmare just needs to focus on getting healed up. We've got some news from NXT 2.0 now, as the brand began touring for the first time ever, but one superstar in particular had a very bad experience. According to fans who attended an event in Largo, Florida, Tony D'Angelo appears to have suffered a shoulder injury, though the severity of the issue has yet to be confirmed by WWE. In photos taken at the event, the self-professed waste management legitimate businessman can be seen on the mat clutching his left shoulder while being checked on by referees. This injury is unfortunate, but may not necessarily force D'Angelo off TV, as he has proven himself to be one of the best on the mic since the launch of NXT 2.0 last September. It's entirely possible that D'Angelo could still appear on TV with his Wise Guys stable, which includes Channing Lorenzo and Troy Donovan. NXT 2.0 went back on the road on Friday in the first tour for NXT in over 2 years, and the first for the 2.0 revamp period, but this tour is an experience D'Angelo won't forget, but not for the right reasons. Back to WWE, and on this week's SmackDown, Gunther captured his first title on the main roster, dethroning Ricochet to win the Intercontinental Championship. With reports that WWE's higher-ups are especially pleased with the Austrian, fans can expect big things for Gunther, including the feud with a multi-time former WWE World Champion. Sharing an image with the title on Twitter, Gunther got a response from Sheamus, who made it clear with just one emoji that the new champion now has a huge target, and seemingly indicated that he plans on challenging for the title. A multi-time tag champion, US champion, and world champion, a reign as Intercontinental Champion is all Sheamus needs to win the WWE Triple Crown and Grand Slam in one move. A feud with Sheamus would certainly be a big deal for Gunther, especially if he is able to dispatch of the Celtic Warrior, so expect big things for the Austrian powerhouse after this week's title victory. And we're ending today with Omos, who has literally been one of the biggest stars on Raw over the past year, associating with top-tier stars including AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley. Omos has quickly found his place on WWE's premium live events, and if he gets his way, he'll soon be competing in Africa. Speaking to BT Sport WWE, the discussion turned to the upcoming Clash at the Castle event, which will happen this September after Drew McIntyre promised a stadium show in the UK. When asked if a premium live event could ever happen on African soil, Omos was confident it'll happen, saying, "Without a shadow of a doubt, we can definitely have a 100,000 or more sold-out show in Africa." The former Raw Tag Team Champion gave the South African capital of Johannesburg as an example of where this hypothetical premium live event could happen, and while the city is home to Africa's two largest stadiums, neither has a 100,000 seat capacity. WWE is no stranger to Africa, having toured the continent in the past and even having two world tag title changes happen during their 2007 tour of the continent. If Clash of the Castle proves to be a success, then it could open the door for other premium live events across the world, so time will tell if Omos gets his African show down the line. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.